story about the IRS chief testifying yesterday, I think it was, in the Senate, that we as a country are losing $1 trillion a year. It's an estimate, but he laid out the reasons for that estimate, the basis of it. I'm not one of those people who are terribly worried about the deficit or the debt. There's very little reason to believe that the deficit or debt has really any bearing on our economic activity. Inflation is possible, but you tax. But in an era where we still have Democrats, and I guess Republicans to some extent, who are constantly obsessing about the idea of paying for, how are we going to pay for this? Well, there's $1 trillion sitting there on the table. For people who have their taxes automatically deducted, if you're a wage earner, the rate in which those taxes are paid relative to unpaid taxes is something like 99%. For people for really essentially the very wealthy, who make their money through capital gains or through pass-through corporations, the IRS estimates that there's 20% that go unpaid taxes. Here is a clip of that moment in the Senate yesterday. I think it's important to highlight this. This is clip number 11, I believe it is. This is the IRS commissioner in the Senate Finance Committee.
Published tax gap estimate of the Internal Revenue Service, the current one that's out, and we'll be issuing one next year, but the published tax gap estimate is for tax years 2011 to 2013, has a gross tax gap of $441 billion. As you indicated, Mr. Chair, in 2011, folks were generally unaware of the term cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and all. There's more than 8,600 cryptocurrencies, virtual currencies in the marketplace, and the market cap worldwide for cryptocurrencies is almost $2 trillion. Our tax gap map for 2011 to 2013 is based on information that is from 2011 to 2013. It does not include any focus with respect to virtual currencies, which I indicated now is about a $2 trillion market cap. It does not include much information with respect to foreign source income. It does not include information with respect to illegal source income, which is still taxable and we do chase. And it also, more recently, within the last 2 weeks, there was a report published that included 2 IRS researchers from our RAS organization that indicated that the top 1% of all taxpayers by high income account for as much as an additional $175 billion in the tax gap computations. And that's associated with their look at only 2 issues, which were pass-through entities and offshore income associated with the top 1%. If you aggregate the points that I'm talking about and you look at the fact that there's a current estimate by folks on the outside that the tax gap is $7.5 trillion over the next 10 years, and you add in the component pieces that I've referenced, there are more. I've just referenced the ones that are most highly visible at this point. If you add those in, I think it would not be outlandish to believe that the actual tax gap could approach and possibly exceed $1 trillion per year.
So that's like more than double what the official estimate was. Is that correct?
Well, he's adding up all these things. I mean, that is, I believe it is. But the bottom line is there's a tremendous amount of money sitting on the table. And we have cut over the past 10 years, 17,000 enforcement-related employees. 17,000. And we have known for certainly as long as I've been talking into a microphone about politics, that for every dollar you spend on the IRS budget in terms of enforcement, you get 4 in return. There is, I guess maybe short of Bitcoin at this point, there is no better return on investment. Certainly not for the U.S. government, but even in any area. 99% of taxes are paid to the IRS when there is automatic withholding and reporting to the agency, but only 45%, 45% of what's owed gets paid when those do not exist, when there is not automatic withholding and automatic reporting. I mean, that's
almost
just
like the government works when they actually choose to enforce these things.
Well, I mean, the problem is that we don't, the amount of money that you need to spend to come chasing this, you need some money, but we have had, at the very least, the Republican Party and to some extent the Democratic Party have systemically defunded the IRS, and the benefits have all accrued to those people, essentially. Well, certainly the top 1%, but I would just say, broadly speaking, rich people in general in this country.
And Rettig hinted at there the next frontier of tax dodging, which is crypto.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Rob Portman apparently going to introduce some sort of legislation in the Senate to combat this. I find it dubious as to whether that will go anywhere if the filibuster remains in place, but at least he can signal, and crypto's more for young tech bros. So, but that is, I mean, the word's going to spread. This is going to be a way for rich people to hide their money.
It's going to be interesting too. If I would be curious as to how the president parliamentarian would rule on such a thing. I mean, if you have the IRS saying, look, we can't give you specific numbers, but we can give you broad estimates as to how much we are losing in tax revenue because of essentially the regulations around cryptocurrency. One could argue that this has a direct impact on the budget of the United States. And so that would be interesting to see if that's something that could be rolled into reconciliation.
I registered president parliamentarian like 5 seconds too late, but good. I mean, you stole my joke, but good.
That's all right. That's all right. That's no problem.
Yeah,
I mean, I put it in the footnotes of the show.